Hola, mi familia. This video is speaking to questions that have been asked of me via Messenger and private messages and whatnot regarding meditation. As with any practice, there's going to be two primary types, and that's active and passive. We'll use as the terms for it. Active meditation is the sorts that I do, particularly the sword dancing is going to be an extremely, leaning towards the extreme end of active meditation, but this can be done all the time. And if you want to get really big into it, like really good into it, and you really want to make use of it and get the benefits of it, you want to be meditating all the time, in every moment. Meditation is essentially a focus measure. It's a practice to enhance focus and to enhance awareness. And people tend to think of meditation as like a measure by which to ascend and to, improve the spirit in some way. That's not really technically possible, and it's not actually what you're doing. And people who, I hate to say it because there's a lot of meditation practitioners and meditation teachers and mentors and whatnot, gurus I suppose you could call them, that will teach along those lines, that will teach their students that they're evolving into some higher level of existence or some such nonsense like that, but that's not the case. And if they are teaching that, as I said, I hate to say it, either A, they don't really know what they're doing yet, they haven't gotten to that point where they actually understand the process and what they're committing to, or B, they're lying to you. And there are a lot of frauds out there that are going to be lying to you. They're going to be telling you that they're charging you money. There's a good chance that they're lying to you in some respect or another. A real master at this sort of thing is not going to charge you for it because it's the freest fucking thing that exists. Speaking to passive meditation, because that's how most people are going to start. Passive meditation is pretty much just being aware of things, and as I was saying, it gives off the illusion, the impression that you are ascending to some higher level, but what you're really doing is you're becoming more aware of what's already happening. The things are already transpiring. You are already at a higher level. There are pieces of you that there's filters that extend from your personality. They're sort of pseudo dimensions. They are not actually dimensions, and a lot of people think of them as being dimensions and actually use the term dimensions, and I personally despise that because dimension refers to spatial quality. We need to be using our terms correctly in order to simplify our terminology. If we're misusing terms all over the place, calling chakras dimensions, then we're just fucking everything up. Everything's mismatched. Dimensions refer to spatial quality. There are 4 of them. You can see 3. That's all. And the 4th one is not time. Time is not a dimension, but that's another topic. With meditation, what you're doing is you're becoming aware of what's already happening. And as I've said before in regards to Kundalini, that's really, the Kundalini is the primary, what everybody's dealing with. It's just, Kundalini is a term given to it by the Sanskrit writing people from way back when. Kundalini is just a term, but what it's referring to is the vital impulse in the body. The vital impulse moves through the chakras, which are the primary nerve clusters in your body, in your nervous system, that are attached to your primary organs. Given blockages in the personality, there are filters that extend from your core identity that make up who and what you are, and each filter serves a specific function, and they correspond with the nerve centers, with the chakras. This vital impulse, once it's active, once you become aware of yourself, and essentially when you wake up to what you want to be and what you want to do, and you put forth any effort to getting something done, to becoming something, to having meaning and purpose in your life, that energy is going to wake up, and it's going to start to work its way up. And the more that you press it, the more you feed it, the more you enhance it, the stronger it's going to get, and it's going to barrel through any blockages in your system. So meditation essentially is working towards clearing up those blockages. The blockages are psychological. That It's going to be traumas that you've experienced throughout your life. It's going to be teachings, belief systems, things that you've been given that block your ability to just be aware. That gives you that cognitive dissonance we've spoken of, that kind of eliminates your ability to be free thinking and open and see what's really happening. When you're blocked from reality, particularly with internet nowadays, and it's unavoidable, and I'm into it too, and I love it, so I can't really speak ill of it, but most people are screened out of reality, literally. We were warned that this was going to happen, 20 years ago, and here it is. But there are varying levels to what's blocking you from what's really happening right here and now. And meditation is the more passive aspect of meditation is just going to be being aware of what's happening, trying to calm down your thoughts and to eliminate psychological blockages by identifying the values that are holding you back, by seeing the bullshit, garbage, nonsense that's running around in your head that makes you think a certain way, that makes you ignore certain things, that directs your perception throughout the maze, the labyrinth of your mind. And ultimately trying to just kind of make that path through the labyrinth A to B, beeline. And we'll get into the filters and the chakras in other videos because I don't want to run this on forever, but that's going to be passive meditation. It's just, you're going to try and block out your thoughts, not block out your thoughts, but you pay attention to your thoughts, let them come and drift, and focus, notice what comes and goes that is not really, that's alien to you, that's not really a part of your own personality, something that's been given to you by elsewhere, that you're holding on to, values that are misplaced, that don't belong, and eliminate them. Just all you have to do is identify them and say, hey, that's trash, and then drop it. And it might turn out to be a routine habit that you need to work on eliminating, something like smoking cigarettes, for example, that you gotta continuously remind yourself not to do until it becomes rote, until it becomes a habit not to do it, and then you no longer have that routine in place. And that's a form of passive meditation. More active meditations is going to be anywhere from focusing on thoughts in the mind that, specific things, directing your perception to certain things, and seeking out values that are misplaced, or creating new values, placing values in your system that are beneficial to you. Focusing on creating habits, creating routines rather than eliminating them. Passive is going to be eliminating routines. Active is going to be creating routines, and then that can get up to where you do things like martial arts practice or the sword dancing that I do, to focus and to balance and to eliminate stresses and unwanted energies. When the impulse gets riled up and it burns and it's really bursting in me, and it gives me an anxiety, that anxiety issues that people have, that's the impulse getting blocked up in your system. And everybody has blockages. If the impulse was completely clear through your system, you'd be like perfected, I guess. I don't know. You wouldn't ascend to a higher level, but you would be where you are. People have asked me how to work through such things as like getting itches and such. The only way to do it, that's a part of the meditation, is to focus on that, or not to focus on that, but to accept that, to realize it, and to let it go. Just what you're doing in passive meditations when something like that arises, and I used to do it with pain. I used to actually inflict pain on myself because I was in a lot of pain from certain side effects and injuries that happened from surgeries and such earlier on in life. I was in a whole hell of a lot of pain. I had to learn to overcome that. So I would actually inflict pain upon myself and meditate in detaching myself from that. And that's what you're going to be doing when you've got like an itch arises, or there's noise, or something's fucking bugging you. Whatever it happens to be, you are detaching yourself from that and you're observing it. You're being a passive observer of it, and that's how the passive meditation works. In active meditation, you're going to focus on it. You're going to drill your perception into it and work on it. Like, for example, being awake and aware and realized in your action of scratching the itch could be considered an active meditation. You're really feeling the feelings you're having, the sensations you're experiencing, you're focusing on them, you're taking in everything you can from them. You are blasting your speakers at 11. You're taking in all the sensory data you can and observing it all point blank at the utmost level, and it's essentially what you're doing, being here now, and getting rid of the trash that's dragging you to elsewhere, because most of us are walking around fucking sleepwalking, in walking around today focused on some shit that happened yesterday with a coworker or something, or a friend said something you didn't like, or your sister's pissed off at you, or whatever it is. Anything that's dragging you from what's happening now and keeping you from focusing the immensity of your energy on this particular moment, what you're doing right here and now, that's what you're trying to eliminate. You're detaching yourself from it and getting an observational, objective perspective on what you're experiencing, detaching your personality from the values that are making up your, what you could call a phantom personality. That's the shade, that's the subconscious. And when you get into the more active aspects of this, what you're going to be doing is reprogramming that subconscious. You're going to identify what values are making up your subconscious mind, how it's operating, what your sense of trajectory is doing autonomically for you in the background, like all the way from making your heart beat, causing you to breathe, up to the way that you react to certain people at certain times. Racist people have racial issues. That's a fucking big value. That's a major no-no that they'd like to focus on and eliminate, where they get into the simple act of meditation, which is the oldest practice that's ever existed. It's the simplest, most basic, freest fucking thing there is. There's nothing new age about it. It's not, it's what you're supposed to be doing, honestly, especially in this day and age, because we have a lot of trash. Like, we should have been prepared for this time. Everybody should have been meditating. Everybody should have mastered it by now. Everybody should have been done and fucking gone with this and have themselves rolling at, their peak. But instead, we're like way far off in the deep end of the nonsense, and everybody's out of it. And like I said, just sleepwalking. So I guess that's as much as I can say right now about meditation, one way or the other, active and passive meditation. In passive meditation, you're detaching yourself from your thoughts, your feelings, your issues. You're detaching yourself from your values, observing them and reconstructing them according to your own intention. Active meditation, you're embracing the values, you're pushing them, you're exercising your personality. So that's that. If you have troubles with it, if you have troubles with itches and noises and all that shit, bothersome, things that are dragging you, things that are distracting you, distractions, you have to detach yourself from that. That's what you're doing. That's the point of the meditation. Keep at it until you can detach yourself from that and not let it you're trying not to let abstract phantom values push you around, because there are a lot of pieces of yourself that you're unaware of that are kind of making you be what you are against your will. You're trying to achieve a perfected free will here, I suppose you could say. So that's that. If you have any particular concerns with it, you can always contact me, and we'll either talk about it one-on-one, or I'll go ahead and make another video. But I'll speak to the chakras and such in another video. In fact, I'll go ahead and do that soon. Thank you for watching. 13 minutes. Hope you watched it. Kilo Salai, Teriyuni Siari, Namaste.